Hi everyone, Indez here. This is gonna be a full breakdown of all these topics that I'm gonna teach you how can you actually become the strongest as you can be without spending a dime. So let's dive into the first one, the combat rating. This one, it is, see, it is pretty much like the gear scored inside this game. This is gonna allow you to keep progressing through the difficulties from normal to hell difficulty to then inferno, and this is gonna be the responsible for you to just become stronger and progressing on the game. So there is a cap of 11% of damage that you dealt and 10% of less damage that you take. So once you get to this cap, you can start focusing on other things. But in the beginning of the game, you pretty much just want to equip everything that gives you combat rating the highest you want to go, because the main goal should be first you do the main story and then you want to reach to the highest difficulty that there is at that moment. So equip the gear. Focus also on this new feature, which is actually a super good feature nowadays for new players, which is the Seeker's Path. This is pretty much a simplified menu for you to know where to focus. So you have the first one, which is going to be the Ancestral Tableau. This one, as long as you play the game, just play the game, do whatever you want on the game, and you start getting these activity points. Is it pretty cool? It's also, this used to be like the Warband activity. Now it just became way more friendly. So play the game, boost this up, and you're gonna get the combat rating you want. Then I'm gonna talk here about this one, the gear leveling upgrades. This is gonna take you a very long time to reach to a maximum of level 30. I got a very good guide of how can you do this the fastest way possible, but depending on how active you are in the game, this might take you like a few months to do it. So don't stress about it, just see this as a side thing, but have in mind that each piece at the maximum level rank 30 is gonna give you 220 per piece, and when it comes like to the green set items, it's gonna give you 192. So the green set items, they are until level 20, and the main gear is gonna be until level 30. The other one is gonna be the Helliquary. So every Monday and Thursdays you have these raids, and the raids are gonna be responsible for you to get like this Void Blood Slang. And also with it, as you upgrade on Helliquary, you're also gonna get the Seeker rating. The Seeker rating is also completely attached to the combat rating. So have in mind that in the beginning of the game, all you're gonna focus is on your combat rating and keep progressing it. Now let's talk about the green set items, which are the other section of your secondary gear also, which is these green set pieces. These green set pieces, they are gonna drop inside dungeons. So in the beginning of the game, you don't have like access right away, but as you keep progressing, you're gonna realize that we have like different set items. We have these 4 pieces glooms, 4 pieces features, but what I really want to get into depth, it is that the way that you want to equip, it is always the highest stat possible, combat rating possible, and then also you want to upgrade it to the max rank possible. So the way you do is attached to this challenge rift feature. So see it pretty much like as a tower mode, that you have floors, or like in this case they are levels, and once you beat the level, you're gonna get cryptic crystals and some scraps and so a lot of XP. But in the beginning of the game, I think it's gonna give you these enigmatic crystals. So use this stat to upgrade your green set items, and then you will want to go and use your scraps and your gold dusts to go and upgrade your main gear. So these are different ranking upgrades that you're gonna have to do, but just take it, and as you play the game, it's gonna be easier. It's gonna be a secondary thing that you should focus. So just having in mind, green set items attached to the challenge rift. Also a quick tip, you can use a friend that if he's stronger, they can boost you on it, so have that in mind. So secondaries, I put it like here right in the start, because this is gonna be the thing that will actually is gonna be responsible for you to become like extremely strong in the game, especially when it comes to PvP. So we have the armor penetration, potency, and resistance. These stats are attached to these 2 main stats. We have here the fortitude and we have the willpower. So the willpower is going to be responsible for you to increase your potency and resistance, and the fortitude is going to increase your armor and armor penetration. So there are multiple ways that you can increase your secondaries. One of the obvious ones, it is with these normal gems that they're gonna keep dropping, and usually I never sell them because it is gonna be the fastest way for me to to get stronger. Some people decide to sell them to buy other things in the game, but personally, because secondaries are extremely important, I never do. But if you come here, you have these normal gems. You want to focus mainly in the beginning of the game at armor penetration. It is super important. On the yellow ones, you want to go with the potency, and on the red ones, you want to go with these purples. It's going to increase your damage. The most important ones are always going to be the blue ones, then the yellow ones, and then pretty much the reds are like just pretty garbage in this game. But if you are playing in with a dot build, which is like damage over time, like using poisons or the bleeds and all these things, so for example necromancers, they use a lot of these bleeds, you can go and you can boost your potency, because it's going to be responsible for you to increase the duration of your dots, and the resistance is going to decrease the duration of your dots on you. And it's the same with the armor penetration. It's going to increase the critical hit damage that you do, so you're going to do more damage, and the armor is going to reduce the damage that you take from this blocking, right? So have in mind that it is a huge trap. People or the game will try to tell you that the total resonance is going to be the most important thing, but it's not. It is definitely to have the secondary. So we have the normal gems, then you want to pretty much go and stack as much as you can fortitude as your main stat. Is probably the most important stat on the game, and then also as much as possible willpower. So these are the two main stats on the game. They are very strong. Also, the other way you can do is go here to Eben's Phantom Sanctum, and you're gonna have below the city, and don't do like me, because in the beginning of the game I actually didn't do this for a very long time, but you're gonna have here the shrine, and this shrine it is gonna be responsible to also to boost your armor penetration potency. Please never level up the damage in life. I think it's gonna be these ones, this purple and these other bluish greenish. Never do these ones or this black one. Always go, in my opinion, with a yellow, red, and purple. Like these three are extremely strong while you're leveling up. You also, I have like a complete guide when it comes to Legacy of Origin on my channel, where can you get all of these, how to upgrade and how to do it in the most efficient way. So these are the ways that you have to go and focus to boost your secondaries. They are extremely important to make you the strongest as you can be. Now let's talk about the substats. Well, when it comes to the substats in this game, you gotta build crit, okay? Please don't be like those feel like I have like so many people asking me, oh, can you review my account? And then I look how much critical hit chance they have, and it is very, very low. Here I am playing with a Demon Hunter, so I'm like focusing on PvP. So I'm pretty much like changing a few things, and I'm going with 30% accuracy. Just ignore this part, because like it's a very niche thing, like for like high rating PvP. But have in mind that the most important secondaries in the game will always be critical hit chance, critical hit damage, attack speed, cooldown reduction, and movement speed. Like these 4 or 5 stats, they are always going to be super important. In my opinion, movement speed, because we don't have mounts in the game, I always prioritize it. So the way you can boost your movement speed, it is, for example, the first 5-star that you should get is going to be the Bloodsoaked Jade, and the main reason is because it's gonna increase your movement speed, passive movement speed, by 10%. And then you can also get it like from substats here from your gear, that you see movement speed increased by 4. So the maximum movement speed that you can get, it is going to be a passive of 20%. And then as you get like speed buff duration, buffs is going to increase, for example, for 30%, 50%. Those are going to be the maximum. It's going to be a total of 70%. 70% is going to be the cap. So have this in mind. Attack speed, also very important. The maximum and the cap of it is going to be 100%. The cap of the critical hit damage is going to be 100%. And when it comes to critical hit chance, also the maximum is going to be 100%. So have these stats in mind that you want to go for. But if you are later on in the game and you just want to focus in PvP, well, there are some broken stats in this game for PvP, which are damage done to players is increased by 2%. So these stats they are not nerfed in PvP. So whenever you go to Battlegrounds, usually most of the stats and substats on this game are nerfed by 66%, but not these ones. Damage done to players and also damage taken from players is reduced by a certain percentage. So whenever you start stacking up like 1.5 here, 1.5 here, and 2% here, now all of a sudden I have like a 5% less damage taken on me, on my character. That together with a lot of fortitude and a lot of willpower, if you see here my stats, I just stack it up, fortitude and willpower. This is mainly the way you get stronger for PvP and later on in the game. But as I always say, if you're stronger and strong enough for PvP, you're gonna be more than strong enough for PvE. PvE in this game, it is pretty easy. Maybe in the beginning, in the start, whenever you're not as strong, isn't, but overall it is gonna be. So focus on these substats, and for PvP, go with the damage taken or done to players. They are very, very strong. Now the other one, let's talk about the Reforge Sets. So the Reforge Sets, the way you unlock this bonus right here on your gear, so let me scroll here down, it is by upgrading the ranks on your legendary gear. So at rank 6, you're gonna upgrade the first slot, you're gonna unlock it. At rank 11, the second, 16, 21 and 26, every 5 levels you're gonna start unlocking these ones to a maximum of rank 26. That's when you unlock 5 of them. And these Reforge Sets, once again, as you see here, I think I have an item that is pretty much perfect for PvP, but these ones, they will change depending on whatever you're gonna do on the game. So for PvP, I'm using these ones. I'm using with a triple vengeance set with damage to shield enemies, damage to loss of control, damage to players, because you can also get from here, duration to beneficial effect. Listen, if you only have one slot and one thing that you can select from the Reforge, please go with the duration to beneficial effects, because beneficial effects, it is pretty much the increase of the duration of not only your buffs, but also the legendary gems buffs, the buffs that your gear will give you. So it is extremely important that you have the maximum of legendary or beneficial effect as possible. So once you unlock this, then you're pretty much done with it. Also, there is a way that you can have loadouts. So there are good reforges, and I also have a huge guide when it comes to pretty much break down what are the best reforge sets that you guys can use. But you go here to the blacksmith, and I see like a few people, they don't know this, but you can actually have some different loadouts. It is very important for you to figure that out, because for PvE you want to use a certain loadouts, for PvP you want to use another ones. If you see here, I got this one for PvP and I got this one for PvE. So have this in mind. You can unlock this feature once you use like a certain number of reforge stones, and then you can just save these things here on your armory. That's where I have all my, I have here DPS, open world PvP, another PvP, another PvE, a high PvP. So you can build up and save all your builds and all your reforge sets depending on the game mode that you're gonna do. So reforge sets, very, very underrated, but very, very powerful. So unlock them and you're gonna be good. Now we have the Awaken Gems. These Awaken Gems in the past, it used to be like the most pay-to-win feature that you could have. It used to be only whenever you could upgrade your gems to maximum of rank 10, but nowadays isn't like that. Once you reach to rank 4, and that was like the biggest win for this community, you can actually go here to these smith materials, and you can buy these Dawning Echoes. When I say it was mainly pay to win, because not only you needed rank 10s, but also you could only buy these Dawning Echoes by 1,000 orbs, which you don't want to do that. Nowadays you should just save 10,000 plats, and I'm gonna tell you, if there is the best use for plat for free-to-play players or new players, you'll be to just go and buy these Dawning Echoes. It's a one-time thing. Once you buy these, you get a gem, a legendary gem, to pretty much the rank 4. You go here to the Master Jeweler, And here there's gonna be an option that you're gonna be able to awaken the gem. All you need, rank 4 and a Dawning Echo, and you awaken. And whenever you awaken, you get this special bonus. So you're gonna be able to reduce the cooldown of your skills, and you're also gonna be able to increase the damage of certain abilities. So let's have in mind in this build, I got every slot awaken except on this one, because awakening is disabled because I don't have my Blood-Soaked Jade at rank 4. Whenever I do, I'm also gonna have this one awaken. But let's just sum up how much my strafe damage is increased. 10% here, 10% here, so 20. Then we have another 10%, so 30%. And we have another one. Well, we have 30% increase on an ability because we are using these awakened slots. Then we are also getting here 10% cooldown reduction, 10% cooldown reduction, 10% cooldown reduction, which is gonna make 30% cooldown reduction, which is the maximum cooldown reduction in this game. So have this in mind. Awakened slots is a one-time thing once it's purchased, and it's gonna make a huge difference, especially not only on your farming, so you have your skills 100% of time, but also while you are doing your PvP. These buffs and these cooldown reductions, everything that you get, it is not nerfed by 66%, so it is that powerful. Now let's talk about also a new addition to the game, very recent, in the later on last year, which is the rune system. These runes pretty much as a thumbs up. The better the color, the better it is. So you have the gray, you have the blues, and you have the gold ones, and now you also have these legendary ones, these orange ones. So as a thumbs up, like I said, better color, better quality, but there are some exceptions that I want you to have in mind. Let me see if I can find, like, you have here there are these essay runes. So if you don't have your passive movement speed at 20%, you can always use these 2 essay runes on your main hand to increase by 3% or 6%, because you can use on both of them. I also want to give a shout out here to these gold ones, the tier, which increase your beneficial effect duration by a lot, and also the attack speed. Crazy rune. This other one, this is gonna be super rare. I got like extremely lucky that dropped to me. But you have this one, the zoo orange gem, like on your offense, it's gonna increase your critical hit chance by 4%, which is crazy. They also, another one, it is the seed for PvE. This one, it is crazy. Whenever you kill a monster, you have 9% of chance of pretty much they exploding by 100% of their HP. So whenever they do, they pretty much just gonna blow up the pack. So whenever I'm doing PvE or I'm farming, I always use this one, even though I have a better one. This one is mainly for PvP. So have this in mind. There's a few here that they are very good. For example, the this one is gonna give you a 2% increase speed. So as long as you try to upgrade them as max as you can. I saw like some people in my comments, they were asking, what do I do with these excessive ones? Well, just go here to the blacksmith. You have this runesmith option, and then you can just start stacking them up, upgrading them. So you want to upgrade only the unbounds with the unbounds and the bounds with the bounds, right? So but you can go and you keep upgrading. That's a system that you use 3 of the other rarity behind to upgrade to the next one. Once I have 380 ATIs, I'm gonna upgrade the next one, and so on. In general, most runes nowadays, they won't sell unless they are or gold or orange ones, but that also will depend on the server. So for me, also, I say that it is pretty much a waste of time to just like nowadays try to focus on only farming these rune ones, because they are extremely rare. So just play the game, and sometimes you're gonna have a dopamine hit and get happy. Then we have the Paragon system. Well, the Paragon system here, as you keep upgrading your Paragon level, so at right now I'm 661, you're gonna go here, and there is this option that it is the Paragon. Each level is gonna give you 1 Paragon point. So the first thing that you want to go is actually to just like keep upgrading and unlocking all these nodes, because they are also going to increase. If you see here, armor penetration, potency, resistance, like in armor, like it's going to increase a lot your secondary stats. So the first thing you want to do, unlock everything, and then just try to play with a build that will make sense for you. So right now I'm doing PvP, so I have my points in the Paragon, in the PvP Paragon, so it is working really really well. I'm enjoying a lot to play this one. But if I was gonna do like some farming, I will probably just go with these ones, with this top row right here. Like this is so strong, especially if your gear is not at level 30. I will say, like, whenever I was not like rank level 30, 90% of the times I was using the Vanquisher Paragon, and if not, if I'm going to go to dungeons, usually I use the Slinger. And now you have like this new one with the Slayer that has like this variant of the shields and all these things. But in general, depending on the build that you're gonna play, you want to play a bit more aggressive, or you want to play a bit more defensive, or if you're gonna farm, you want to use this one. And now you also have like these new legendary skills that I will say, like, they are, a lot of them are pretty niche, so I'm just gonna highlight here the best ones. You have the lightning rod. In my opinion, it is 100% one of the best ones, just like a big lightning that comes and gives an extra damage. The benefactor, it is very good for PvP. Whenever you buff yourself up, you're gonna give a shield to yourself and also to your allies next to you. And now we have also this dead release, that whenever your harmful effects, which is like these dots, they expire, they will explode and they will do damage, AoE damage to 30% to the enemies around. Is also very good. This one also is very good if you want to use if you're a tank and you're using like multiple shocks. So there is a lot to go on, and depending on the build it will change, but just keep upgrading because these will also be attached to your secondary stats. Now we have here the Helliquary, as I touched at like beginning of the video. You have here now here on the Seeker's Path, and if you go down here in the corner, bottom corner, you have the Inquiry. I want to tell you that on this one, you mainly want to go, especially at late game, with pieces like this, Fortitude and Willpower. You just want to go with Fortitude, Willpower, because those are going to be the responsible, once again, to increase your legendary, your secondary attributes. So it's going to make you extremely strong. I think I messed up here with one, I think this one, and I salvaged the wrong one. That's why I have like a bit of strength. But if not, I will of course go with only Fortitude and Willpower. This is like a pretty much like something that I don't see a lot of people doing, but unless you're like a PvP god, like probably you also gonna know. But if you are just starting the game and leveling up, in your goal it is to try to reach to the maximum difficulty, you want to prioritize the ones that will always give you the highest combat rating. The highest combat rating that they're gonna give you is the one that you should keep. Once you get to the late game and you start to want to do to PvP, then you switch it out to Fortitude and Willpower. This is a very good cheat code. Do your raids with 8 people. It is here, we have here this demonic portal. If you don't have a warband, try to get with a warband as soon as you can, and you always want to do it with all these slots filled it up, because when you have 8 people, you're gonna give you double chests. So even if you don't have 8 people to play, get a few from the world chat, just type, hey, I need some fillers for the raids. But always go with 8 people, and the preference, you also want to go with the 4 warband members, so you can unlock this internal crest right here. If you go here to the crest merchant, you want to go and you want to buy this one, but this is locked. That is already sold out because I already did my raids this week, but you can only get these ones if you do with 4 members of your warband. So the raids, you can do it every Monday and Thursday, twice a week, so do them all the time because they're gonna be extremely important for your progression. Now let's talk about the warband. The warband, as I said, as I mentioned, is important for you to buy this crest, but more important, it is for you to actually go. And if you see here, in the past this used to be like extremely important. Nowadays the most important thing is actually this room management. Most of the times you want to go like with the protector, that is going to increase the blockchain, but it's not even for the blockchain. All you really want, it is the shepherd's burden, which is going to increase your life and it's going to increase your size. So when you increase your size, the bigger your character is, the faster it's going to run. And again, because we don't have months, you want to go and run as fast as you can. It is very good. For this one, you want to go Shepherd's Burden. Also another one is Evil's Bane. It is also pretty good, so go with this. And if not, and if you're going to do, for example, some dungeons or some raids or some very hard content that you need to output as much damage as you can, well, You can also change to this one, to the attacker, and I'm just gonna go highlight here like a few options that I think they are very good. Do you have like these remnants? War Vassal is gonna increase your critical hit chance by 3% if you are above 75. You have this one that is gonna increase your damage by 3% if you don't have enemies around. This one is great. It's like increase your damage by 6%, but also you take 3% more damage, but most of the times you won't take a lot of damage. And this Manifest Carnage, which is gonna give you a critical hit damage by 10% if you have critical hit chance higher than 70%. All of these are pretty much like the best remnants that you can have. So I mainly just use these two, the attacker room and the protector one. Let me change here to the protector because to be honest, like 90% of the times I'm always on the protector because I just want to run faster, and most of the times I also only do PvP. So Warband is pretty much done. That's all you need to know. Now let's talk about the familiars. So the familiars, these are a bit tricky because like the familiar, the main role of the pets, it is to just get your loot from the floor. Okay, it is pretty much it. And this it is such a convoluted system that in my opinion you don't really want to engage a lot with it. I'm just gonna tell you the main pets that you guys should get, and maybe even if I have to select just one pet, I use this pet like, I'm not gonna say 100% of the times, but I will say like 98% of the times I'm only using my pet that has the savior. This is pretty much a cheat that whenever you get like a fatal hit, it doesn't let you die, and for 3.3 seconds I'm gonna be immune to damage. It is very good, not only in PvP. In PvP is I will say that's almost required at this stage, because it will just change the dynamic of the game. But even when you're doing like challenging content on the game, it is pretty damn good. Like, it just makes you more relaxed. If you make a mistake, you still get the cheat. That is awesome. But if not, you also and if you're just like, no, I just want to be a god DPS, okay, you want to get like a brand talent that has only this skill, Lingering Wounds. This one, as you see, I don't put a lot of priority when it comes to PvE. I always prioritize my PvP, but Lingering Wounds, it is what I call armor break. So whenever the pet's gonna attack, is gonna give this armor break, and I'm gonna start doing 16% more damage. And this can go like to 37%, so like something very crazy. Like if you have like the legendary one with the highest insight, so it can go pretty crazy. But I will not focus a lot of your platinum and your time in this. Just focus on getting your pet with the savior and with a higher resilience. So what happens is, like, whenever you have a higher resilience, you will figure it out that if I open here a bit more the option, you'll see savior, it is a resilience skill. So the higher the resilience I have, the lower the cooldown is gonna be. And on the bird talent here, the higher the insight I have, because it's an insight skill, the higher the percentage of the armor break that I'm gonna have. So you see here I have a 3.44% higher armor break, just because my brand talent is 161 insight. So have this in mind. Pets, in my opinion, just go with the savior and you're pretty much done. Now let's talk about Curse Gear. Well, Curse Gear, it is something that will make you slightly stronger, but it is not really that game of a changer. Hopefully in the future they will add like in the same way as we have here on the Reforges, we have loadouts. We definitely need in this game some loadouts for our curse set items, because like you have all these sets in the game. You have Ghost that makes an illusion that's gonna take damage for you. You have the Vex that's gonna boost your summons. You have the Lash, whenever you do the primary attack, it's gonna like some tentacles. The Test gonna make a void. Nettle is like a super good skill. Like after you gain a shield, every time you get hit with the target, you're gonna like counter attack nearby enemies. You also gonna have a trophy. It's gonna be like something on the floor. Wire, it's gonna be like a chain lighting. And the Torture, like for me, is the one that I'm using right now. It's gonna leave a trail of flames on the floor, and if you go on top, it's gonna immobilize, which is like crazy. The Blaster, pretty much just ignore this one. It is kind of trash. So here, in my opinion, you want to prioritize this for you to go with the PvP one. Okay, so whenever you reach to the end game, you want to go with the PvP one. It can be like 6-piece nettles, 2 pieces ghost if you are playing a tank, or it can be like a 6-piece tortured or 2 pieces natal. So for example, here I'm using the torture a lot because I'm using all the dashes here and there, and it is pretty awesome. So these will depend on the build that you're using, but the highlights whenever you are leveling up is going to be the lash, the tested, and the wire. They are very good for leveling up and for PvE. And for PvP, nettled, ghost, lashed, and tortured are the highlights. So if you want, you can always be changing, because every time you change a piece of gear, you're gonna have to do this. But it is pretty easy to get all these purification charts for you to change and roll. But if you don't have these right, don't stress a lot, but it is a way that you can definitely min-max your character. Now, let's talk about legendary gems and why did I put them in the last of the points. Was on purpose, because like the legendary gems, they are important. They are literally the pay-to-win mechanic of the game. But I can say that because we have all these ways of upgrading and tweaking our character, multipliers, like increased damage rate and damage reduction and all these things, the gems, they are important, but they are not as important as if you have all these things together. Of course, like you still want to go with like a great build. So for example, here I'm using the Fervent's Fangs. This one is a gem that in my opinion is one of the best 2-star gems in the game. You can get it from the battle pass. Bloodsoaked Jade, it should be the first gem that you can get, if not in the Elder Beast, but on your Turtleic Pearl. So every 40 Turtleic Pearls you get this from events, rewards, and all these things. This is very good. It is the only way you can target like your 5-star. So if you have them, if you have 40 right at the start of the game, just use it on getting your first Bloodsoaked Jade, and after that just get your rolling consequence and all your copies, because these are like great gems. So Paint Clasp, super good. It's gonna increase your damage whenever you have damage over time on the target. You're gonna have the Viper's Bite that every time that you hit the target, it's gonna apply a dot. And whenever you have a dot, a poison, it's gonna trigger the Paint Clasp. It's gonna make you do more damage. Rolling consequence, this gem, it is pretty much, these 2 gems are the best gems in the game. One increases damage and movement speed. The other one increases your critical hit chance by a lot, by 24, and it's only at rank 4. Is gonna give you a buff that's gonna start blasting out all the mobs around, and it's gonna add a burn. And whenever you add a burn to the target, you get even an increased chance, critical hit chance. So it gets crazy. Now I have like also a ultimate legendary gem guide, because like these are progressions, and whenever you start on the game, you always want to focus like with just like a set that has like 1 and 2 stars, and then afterwards you upgrade to like 1, 2 stars and 5 stars, and then later on after a few months you want to upgrade to 2 stars and 5 stars, and hopefully maybe it's a free-to-play in maybe 1 or 2 years, so maybe like 2 or 3 years, you're gonna have a setup like with just only a few 2 stars and most of them 5 stars. And I want to tell you that when it comes to this, there is a curse. Okay, there is a curse that comes for free to play and low spenders. It is like whenever you see a 5-star, you think like these 5 stars are the best. They are not. Not only you need multiple copies to awaken the slots, and awakening the slots are extremely important. As you see here, I get like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars that I'm not even using. Why? Because if I was using, I'll be extremely weaker. 1 and 2 stars on these games, they are still very powerful, so have that in mind. You want to go for 1 and 2 star setup at the start, then you want to slowly start upgrading them to get to rank 4. Once you get to rank 4, you awaken your slots and you keep getting stronger. I just want to give like a small tip here, the way you can get also a lot of normal gems and a lot of rare crests. it is to go here to this hills trader. It is a trader that I usually I always buy here the legendary crest, the turtleic pearls, the normal gems, and then I also buy here these keys and the normal gems on a limited time, only normal gems. Whenever at the end of the week I have like excess of hills, I go and I buy some rare crests. So rare crests in this game, they gonna give you these turtleic pearls. They also have a chance to give you a 1-star gem, and then the legendary crest is gonna give you bounded gems to your account. So if you see here, I got these gems here because they are bound to my account. Even if I wanted, I cannot sell them. And you have these internal legendary crests, which are the unbound gems. Any gem that comes and I roll from this is gonna be unbound, which means that I could go here to the action house and I could sell. That's all I do. Everything that I sell, I'm going to show you. They are mainly pets, runes, and all my unbound legendary gems. As I said, I always keep my normal gems because they are like very important to get. So this is the way I do my plat. If you see, I'm selling a pet, runes, and I'm going to even show you all my transactions. I made until now 374,000 plat, pets, runes, unbound legendary gems, and this is pretty much all I sell. So there are multiple ways that you can do plat with alts and these things. I don't do any of that because I feel like this game is already very demanding. So as a final thought, I will tell you that my account, it is completely free to play. I've been playing now for 9 or 10 months. I don't use alt farming. I don't do any of those shenanigans. I just try to min-max my time and inside the game, and only with one character. So I hope this was good to you. I know it was a long video, but hopefully it's gonna help you a lot. There is a lot more into it, and I have like extensive deep ultimate guides, and I'm probably gonna put them down below on the description that you can go check it out even in more detail, every single topic of this. So this is how you get stronger without spending a dime. So legends, don't forget to drop the like, subscribe, and all the G's. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.